Welcome to this week's episode of Amanda Makes a Mess. As I promised last week, this week's video is a sketchbook tour. And I'm sorry this video is a day late, at least a day late. The sketchbook was not nearly as finished as I thought it was. I had a couple pages I had to finish doing. So, here's this week's video anyway. And I'm holding the camera in my hand, so it may be kind of shaky. This, by the way, is a Mossery sketchbook. I absolutely recommend those. They are amazing. This is the mixed media one. I got it in a kit with some Posca pens. I don't remember what the kit was called, but I'm sure you can probably find it on their website. It's probably still for sale. I got it in March, I think. So let's get started. Here's a pocket in the front. This is a little booklet that came with it. I just shoved that in there. It has Mossober, which was their version of Inktober last year. It has all their prompts and some artwork done by artists who used their prompts. This page, you can't really see that because that's my name and address under there. We're not going to bother with this page. Well, I guess we can. Okay. Inspiration board. Can you see that? Okay. This is just like, you can pause if you want to read this, but it's just like movies and songs and stuff, books that inspire me, I guess. Mostly I just listed my favorites, but it was supposed to be stuff that inspired you. Here we have the quotes page. I wasn't going to go through all these, but let's do that. So here we've got, have courage and be kind. In kindness there is goodness, and in goodness there is magic. From the live-action version of Cinderella. A glorious sunrise dappled with flickers of light from the dress I wore at midnight. That's from a song called Happiness by Taylor Swift. I should probably warn you now. I was listening to Evermore and Folklore a lot while I was filling the sketchbook. There is a significant amount of Taylor Swift in here. If you don't like Taylor Swift, this may not be the video for you. So, yeah. Baby, You're a Firework, Katy Perry. We'll live in peace, but if someone comes at us, this time I'm ready. Taylor Swift. The storm was once a madhouse. I made a joke. Well, it's made for me. Also Taylor Swift. Dripping like a saturated sunrise, spilling like an overflowing sink. There, I think you can see that. It's a little blurry. Every fairy tale needs a villain. Wait. Okay, we're on this line. I put way too many of these in here. Every turn I take, every trail I track, every path I make, every road leads back to the place I go, to the place I know I cannot go where I long to be. That's from Moana, obviously. My boyfriend's pretty cool, but not as cool as me. From Lana Del Rey. You're so gorgeous, I can't say anything to your face, because look at your face. This is mostly song lyrics, honestly. I've given you the best I had. Tell me what to give after that. Let's change hands here. Low on self-esteem, so you run on gasoline. I actually illustrated that. But you don't get to see it in the sketchbook. I think it might be in the next one. They mistook my kindness for weakness. If you hold me without hurting me, you'll be the first that ever did. Lana Del Rey, again. There's a lot of her in here, too. Life imitates art. Again, Lana Del Rey. You can tell what music I listen to. Be like Elsa, let it go. That was Dean Winchester from Supernatural. Say hello to the monster that you made. There's people in hell wanting Slurpees. That was the best quote from The Walking Dead, like from any season. Pacify her. She's getting on my nerves. She would have made such a lovely bride. What a shame she's fucked in the head. So, hey, this video's not for children now. There you go. There's proof. I'm laughing. I'm crying. It feels like I'm dying. I was a willow when I bent right to your wind, but I come back stronger than a 90s trend. There's some of those that should not be coming back. They were not aesthetically pleasing in the 90s, and they're even worse now. I'm known to be quite vexing. I'm just forewarning you. I had a marvelous time ruining everything. I actually wrote that on my Create This book. All of my cages were mental, so I got wasted like all my potential. I couldn't heal because I kept pretending I wasn't hurt. I don't know who said that. I didn't write it on there. I might be crazy, but I am fucking free. Lana Del Rey. That's from Ride. From, like, the monologue at the end of the song. Don't let the praise go to your head, and don't let the criticism go to your heart. I don't even know who this guy is. I just found that on Twitter or something. It's a love story. Maybe just say yes. If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Oh, we already had this one. A glorious sunrise dappled with flickers of light from the dress I wore at midnight. From Happiness by Taylor Swift. And here we have the last row. If the shoe fits, walk in it until your high heels break. Taylor Swift. I think I have that in my Reckless Journal too. Some people are worth melting for. That's Olaf from Frozen. And I myself am strange and unusual. And that's Lydia from Beetlejuice. That's one of my favorite quotes ever. And over here, this was the role models page, but it's mostly just people that, like, inspire me, like other artists. Jasmine Beckett Griffiths. She is one of my favorite artists, from, like, our time period, like, contemporary artists, I guess, because she does such cute but creepy artwork. Norman Rockwell. He had a very distinctive art style. It was very realistic, but, like, the facial expressions were very exaggerated, so you could really tell what emotion he was going for. And I really like that. I especially like this. He's painted himself 3 times here. That was called Triple Self-Portrait. Velvet Underground and Nico, one of my favorite bands. Andy Warhol did this cover for one of their albums. I really like him because he could turn, like, just everyday objects into art. Audrey Hepburn. For her, it's more of a fashion thing. I really like vintage fashion. Yeah, I wanted to add Stan Lee here as well, but I ran out of space. There's a better version of this in my next sketchbook, which you'll see in a couple weeks, because I do plan on doing a tour of that, and I'm almost done with it. Beatrix Potter. She was one of the reasons I used to draw a lot of animals. I could never get her style. I've never even tried to do her style, but she's one of the reasons why I did a lot of animals. Stevie Nicks, that's a fashion thing again. And she's just a really good singer. Alphonse, I cannot say this man's last name. Say that. He's a very famous painter, so you know who I'm talking about. But he was, like, amazing. I mean, this is one of his paintings here. He used to do, well, he had a very pronounced art style. You can see he did a lot of, like, really intricate backgrounds with a single person in front of them. Joanna Basford, I think I spelled her name wrong, but she does these pen and ink drawings that are really detailed, and I really like those. And Vincent van Gogh, because, you know, Starry Night. That is actually the first ever painting I saw in an art class in school when I was in 1st grade. Yeah, skip that page. We've already been at this for 10 minutes and we've not even got to the art yet. So here's Marisol opening up Sketchbook 13 like she always does. This is my official first page. And she's saying, it says, welcome to Sketchbook 13. And then Marisol saying, these sketchbooks are reproducing like bunnies. So many bunnies. And then I forgot to put the date here. But this is the date I started it. And I just finished it actually, I think on the 29th. Which was the day before yesterday. This is an advertisement, a vintage makeup advertisement for Maybelline that I printed out and defaced. It says, my eyes leak acid rain. That's a quote from a Taylor Swift song, of course. And then her eyes are leaking acid rain. This was better before I tried to seal it, but the varnish that I tried to put over it made the ink from where I printed it out, it smeared it a little bit. You can really see it right here where it's smeared across the sketchbook page. This is just a printout from my computer glued on here. This is the art supplies that came in this kit that I got from Mossery. There's a blue color Eno pencil. I love these, but I lost mine. Yeah, I actually had the whole set of those, but I either used all the lead out of them or I lost them. A 0.3 Pentel point liner. Some mint green washi tape that I have not seen since I did this page. I don't know where that went to. And then these were Posca pens. I got all these colors of Posca pens. Actually, I filled up this whole sketchbook with Posca pens, not just these ones. I have like a whole collection of them. Yeah. So that's what I used on all this. There's every single page in the sketchbook is a painting on the front and the back of the page. So there's a lot here. Here's another vintage ad that I printed and then defaced, but I just colored her lipstick and her eyeshadow. That's all I really did to that one. Here's Sketchbook 13's playlist. This is such a long playlist. I'm not going to read this whole thing after I just went through all those quotes, but here it is. If you want to pause the video and read it, here it is. Then here's the back. I'm not reading that. That was a lot there. Okay. Baby, you're a firework. That's a quote from Katy Perry, obviously. I think I just wanted to use the colors on black, is why I did this. Here's Marisol again. I drew her without line art, and wow, are her eyes too big. Those eyes are creepy. This was around Easter, I think, that I was doing this. So here's a bunny smelling a sunflower. Even though I don't think sunflowers actually bloom around Easter, but that's alright. This was supposed to be the same girl. Like a day or night, or a good day or a bad day thing. I don't quite remember what I was thinking. I just remember it was supposed to be the same girl. But here she is, like, I think she was supposed to be watching the sunrise over the ocean because you can see it in her sunglasses. So that was the good day or the morning picture. And here was the bad day or the night picture. Yeah, I don't know if this was supposed to be a bad day or if it was supposed to be night or what. I don't remember. And I didn't date either one of these. That's nice. But yeah, it's got to be a bad day because, I mean, there's a giant bug in the middle of her face. That's a bad day. These two, I was experimenting with color. I never did get around to coloring her necklace in. I wanted to do the same drawing, but do it in different colors just to see, like, how it looked. That's not what I was thinking when I did this. I don't remember exactly what I was thinking. Something about the mood of the drawing, how the colors changed the mood. But I can't remember exactly what I was thinking. I need to start writing these things down. Anyway, you see this one's darker, this one's lighter. I don't like that color for her hair. It kind of clashes with everything else. here's a random cat with rainbow stripes. Here, this was supposed to look like stained glass, like a sunrise or a sunset done in stained glass. I actually painted a hot air balloon in front of a sunset and made it look like stained glass for a mixed media class when I was in college. This is Merida from Brave. Again, I did not date any of these. I wish I had. Anyway, this is Merida. This is how I draw her hair when I draw her, and I know it's not great, but yeah, her hair is very intimidating. She's the only Disney princess that I don't draw very often, and her hair is the reason why. This one, on Instagram, around the time I was doing this, these resin daggers kept popping up on my Instagram news feed. Is that what it's called? Like when you first open Instagram, the pictures that pop up, whatever that's called, they kept popping up, and some of them were so cute, and I wanted to do one, but I have very limited experience with resin, like basically no experience with resin. Yeah. So I did a drawing of a dagger with a Hello Kitty handle instead of actually making one out of resin. Here's a rainbow eye. It's outlined in silver. I did this because I was going through some of my old artwork, and when I was in middle school, like end of middle school, beginning of high school, there were a lot of rainbow eyes. Like that I guess was my favorite thing to draw. I don't know, but I decided to redo one anyway. So this is what it came out like. If my voice sounds weird, it's because I was outside earlier and I have a lot of allergy and sinus problems in the summer. And this has already been a very long video and I'm having trouble talking. So this video maybe actually end up getting broken up into 2 videos. I don't know yet. I really want to do this one, but we are up to 17 minutes now. Don't remember doing this. I honestly don't. I think I colored this in a video, but I don't remember like the story behind it. Oh, those were supposed to be my headphones, because for a while I was using my headphones, then I got another microphone, and then it broke too, and now I'm back to using my headphones for voiceovers. I think this must have been around the time the first microphone broke, and I had started using those for voiceovers. That's creepy. I do remember doing this. She was supposed to be like some kind of water spirit, and she was dripping. Like her hair was water dripping, so that's why she's upside down. I don't know. It's really creepy. Her eyes kind of look like they're glowing. This silver background, can't remember the name of the pen, but it's that gold one that Mira Byler likes so much. Like, she colors everything with it. This is the silver version of that. I love that pen. I like the gold one too. And there's even a rose gold. I have the rose gold one too. And they're kind of amazing. Obviously, you can see it here. They look like real metal. They're not like metallic Sharpies. Even the metallic Posca pen kind of pales in comparison to those. Here's a stack of macarons, because no sketchbook is complete without at least one drawing of some kind of junk food. Here's some pages that I glued together. I guess I didn't like what was in there. That's what I do when I don't like pages. I don't tear them out. I just glue the pages together. Oh, I like this. This is a sunflower. It did get stuck to the next page a little bit, but that's alright. I really like the way the colors contrast in this one. This is actually a redrawing of something I did, I think for Inktober 2016, but I'm not 100% sure. I did literally a raven sitting on a skull. That was the whole drawing, but I did a very realistic version with I think I want to say a dip pen and ink, but I'm not sure if it was that year that I used the dip pen or if it was the next year. But anyway, I did a very realistic version of this, and I found it when I was doing the sketchbook, and I decided that I wanted to redraw that, but I wanted to do it in my current art style just to see what it would look like. I wish I could find the original version of it. I'd put it on screen beside this one, but I have no idea where it would even be at. Then since the raven was on that page, I wrote Nevermore on this page like it was graffiti on a wall. I actually have this notebook called The Walls. It's basically just pictures of walls on a page, and then you draw on them like it's graffiti. I want to do a video for that, with that, if I ever get around to it. Then here we have a storm. I did this, actually, I think during a storm. I did it for a video, and I'm pretty sure I was recording when it was storming. I know I did the sketch during a storm, because I was just looking out the window. Here's where I got the Artistro paint pens. Here's swatches. This is all the colors that come in the 30 set. Oh, I did date this one. This is May 16th. I did actually date one page at least. And this is when I was watching The Simpsons. I was watching all 31 seasons. I kind of binge watched that just while I was doing other stuff. I didn't actually just sit and watch it. I was doing other stuff at the same time too. This is the Artistro paint pens with the medium tips. Also 30 of those. The colors are called different things, but they're basically the same colors as the other ones. And then I didn't have a space to do drawing here, so I drew Lisa Simpson on the back. Don't know what all the smeary stuff here is. Unless maybe it came from this page. I hadn't had much fan art throughout this whole thing, so I drew Wendy from Peter Pan. She's a Disney character I don't think I've ever actually drawn before this. I did use a reference for this, but her face still looks a little messed up. Here's another storm picture. I really liked storms, and I really like drawing storms. I like this idea with the storm being in a bottle. As you know, they say storms are brewing. It's like a brewed potion. It's a storm. I don't know. This is India ink, the background here. Up till now, everything here has been Posca pen, or where I did those Artistro paint pen swatches. That was the Artistro paint pens. But this background here is India ink. Then this is gold Posca pen on top of it. And it says, "This ain't built a bitch. I'm filled with flaws and attitude. So if you need perfect, I'm not built for you." And that, I forget who sings it, but that's from a song called Build a Bitch. I was very into that song briefly. This is also India ink, the background. Then this is just black Posca pen on top of it. I did a bigger version of this as a painting, and it's in an art gallery at the moment, actually. Oh, here we go. The rest of this sketchbook, I should probably warn you. I warned you about the Taylor Swift part, but the rest of this, I was rewatching Gravity Falls for like the 4th time. And the rest of this, there's a lot of Gravity Falls in here, okay? Like, half of what is left in the sketchbook is probably Gravity Falls. It's my favorite cartoon. It's my favorite thing to watch on Disney Channel. And, oh, you are going to see some of that. This is Mabel Pines. She's one of the main characters from Gravity Falls. There's an episode toward the end of the series where this creature, I don't want to tell you too much in case you haven't seen it and you want to, but this creature escapes from somewhere, and they call it a cycloptopus. It's basically an octopus with one eyeball, and I decided to draw him for some reason. I don't know, I like drawing tentacles. Tentacles are fun. And here's Sally and Jack from Nightmare Before Christmas. I love the way they came out. This is only the third time I've drawn them, but once it was just a silhouette. There weren't any details. Here's another page I glued shut. This page might be disturbing. There's some blood here. This is more Taylor Swift. It says, "You drew stars around my scars, but now I'm bleeding." This background is washi tape. It's 3 different kinds of washi tape. I had just bought this earlier that day, and I wanted to use it for something. And it looked like stars, which made me think of this line from the song. So I did the background in washi tape. But then I realized I couldn't write over it because I don't think the pen would have stuck to this really plasticky metallic looking washi tape. So I printed the words out from my iPad, cut them out, glued them on here. Then I did this drawing of a hand on marker paper with stars and blood, and it was actually supposed to be this way, but I made it too long, so I had to put it down the page this way. But this is actually one of my favorite pages. I like how everything just kind of goes together. And here is the Harley Quinn page for the sketchbook. It says, "I'm known to be quite vexing. I'm just forewarning you." That's from the original Suicide Squad movie. This is my favorite Harley Quinn to draw. It's the one from the original Suicide Squad movie. I think I'm losing my voice. Oh. I should know better than to try talking this long when I'm having sinus issues. So every sketchbook I have had since 2016, when the first Suicide Squad movie came out, has had a Harley Quinn in it. And at least one. Some of them have had more than one. And this is my 13th sketchbook, so that's at least 13 drawings of Harley Quinn since 2019, because I only started numbering them in 2019. So imagine how many more sketchbooks and drawings of Harley Quinn I have from 2016 to 2019. One day I'm going to find all of them, and I'm either going to do a video on them or like an Instagram upload or something. I don't know. But every time I draw her, she looks different, and I kind of like that. This one's only half of her because I couldn't figure out how to squeeze her whole head on one page, and I wanted this page to be the quote. Here's more Gravity Falls. I tried to do kind of my version of the logo there, and then here's Mabel and Dipper down here. Here's more Taylor Swift. This says, "I want to watch wisteria grow right over my bare feet because I haven't moved in years," which is from The Lakes by Taylor Swift. So this has kind of a story behind it. Well, I created the story as I was drawing her. So this was supposed to be a statue, because it says, "I want to watch wisteria grow over my bare feet because I haven't moved in years," which made me think of a statue, because, you know, they don't move. Usually they don't move, unless they're like the angel statues from Doctor Who, and those things are just creepy. But, yeah. So I couldn't get the wisteria actually on her feet, because I looked at wisteria and it's like a hanging plant. It hangs down. It doesn't really grow up, or at least in the photos that I saw, it doesn't really like grow like it would grow over your feet. It hangs down like this. So I did my best. But in my head, as I was drawing this, the story kind of happened. Like, this is this lady's grave. This is her, like, her tombstone, but she got such a big one. It's like a monument of her made because she was like some kind of witch and she saved the world. I don't know. Uh, so that was the story behind that, I guess, because I mean, she's got to be something important to have like a statue of herself made, and that ball was, it looked like it was glowing and magic and something, I don't know. I actually meant to go over this and outline the letters to make them stand out from the background more, and I forgot to do it. Oops. This, I did not go and order the sketchbook. This is actually one of the last drawings, but not one of the last ones I did. And I cannot remember what I was thinking when I did this. It was inspired by an Adam Lambert song called Feel Something. But I don't remember how the drawings relate to the song, or even which part of the song they're supposed to relate to. Which is what happens when you start drawing something and then go back to it like a month later. Which I kind of have a bad habit of doing. Like, I have a painting that I started a few years ago that I've still not finished. And every time I go looking at it and thinking I should finish that, I don't remember what I was thinking when I started it, because I've done a lot of art since then. And like, I don't want to ruin it if I accidentally paint something the wrong color, because what if I suddenly remember what I was thinking back then? I don't know. It's probably never going to get finished. Anyway, here's more Gravity Falls. Ooh, and this one has a date. That was July 29th. This is one of the last ones I did because I kind of forgot that I hadn't finished it. Anyway, this is Pacifica Northwest from Gravity Falls. And it says, Pacifica is rich. She's cheating at life. That's another one of my favorite quotes from that show. And then here's 2 pages glued together again because I guess I didn't like something. This is a Melanie Martinez page. This is, the background is washi tape again. Then I did the letters on my laptop or on my iPad, I don't remember. And printed those, cut them out, glued them on. And then I did this drawing on marker paper and I cut it out and glued it in. I actually really like this drawing and the colors. I don't think it goes very well with the background though. Here's 2 more pages glued together. I must have really not liked the sketchbook. This is also one that I finished. No, I did this on the 28th. I don't think the background goes very well with the drawing once again, but here's a butterfly. I like butterflies, but I don't like the middle of them because it's like this little worm thing stuck in the middle of these big pretty wings. Who needs the little worm thing? So I cut out the little worm thing. The background is washi tape again. And I did these drawings separately on marker paper and glued them in with a glue stick, but it's not holding very well. I'm using an off-brand glue stick for this. I should have just got the Elmer's ones like usual. And then the antennas are drawn on with Posca pen. This is colored with Posca pen as well. I just, I did the drawings and colored them on separate sheets of marker paper, and then I glued them in. Marker paper is the only thing I have found that Posca pens do not chew up. Even this paper in the sketchbook that's supposed to be mixed media, it does work pretty well. But Posca pens do not chew up marker paper like they do everything else. So if you want something to use Posca pens on, try marker paper. They do chew it up, but not nearly as bad as they do everything else. So here's the last page. I finished this just a couple days ago on July 29th. Here's Marisol again, kind of, and she's saying, "Too many bunnies. That's it for Sketchbook 13. I'll see you in the next one, maybe." because she's buried under a pile of bunnies. The bunnies reproduced. Like she said back here, the sketchbooks are reproducing like bunnies. So here's a bunch of bunnies she's buried under. I had this drawing planned since I started the sketchbook, but honestly now it seems really stupid. So I don't know. And here's the dates. I started Sketchbook 13 on March 17th. It's not back there, it said 19th. Anyway, I started Sketchbook number 13 on March 17th, I guess. And I finished it on July 29th, 2021. And that is it for this sketchbook. So that's all. It says Mossery down here. This is a Mossery sketchbook, by the way. I think I said that, but in case I didn't. That's it for this week's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, whatever. Anything helps. Comment. Yeah, I will see you next week. I upload every week on Saturdays at noon. Except for this week, I'm uploading on Sunday because I'm kind of an idiot and I didn't get it finished. So I will see you next week. Bye.